Welcome back, everyone, to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Well, they've made a number of improvements to the Core Patch 1.0, which first introduced the campaign mode. Unfortunately, those improvements destroyed my campaign save, so we have to start over. I'd only done one episode in the new campaign, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that and start over again with a couple of minor changes to how we started the last one. Still 1900, still difficulty normal. We're going to change the AI opponent to historical. That may be what I had before. I don't know. So maybe that's not a change. But the big change here is instead of doing a create your own fleet, I'm going to do an auto-generated fleet. Some of you suggested, and I find myself agreeing with you, that it's more realistic to have an auto-generated fleet and then, just kind of think of this as me taking over in the year 1900. And so I have to take what I've already got to work with, which means that instead of facing a British Empire with an aging fleet and me having all brand new 1900 tech ships, we both have kind of a similar starting point, and then we kind of go from there. So we're going to do that with the auto-generated fleet. So now what I'll be doing is taking what I already have and trying to improve upon it while simultaneously trying to win with what I've got. So let's see how that all works out, and we'll see what the British Navy starts with, because it can randomize quite a bit. I've had campaigns start where the British had 18 battleships, and I've had it start where they've had 4 and everything in between. Looks like they're going to have 5. We're actually going to have more heavy cruisers and more battleships than the British to start. They've got more destroyers and more torpedo boats. So that's not too bad. That's a pretty even starting place. We've got a monthly balance of plus 13,000. So the first things we're going to do is go into our finances and immediately start with, I love to have a good tech budget. I love to kind of ramp that up as much as possible. We're not going to build any new ships just yet. We're going to wait on some research before we do that. And let's take a look and see. Special machinery is close. Electro-hydraulic steering gear is just a couple of months away, so we're going to try to speed that up. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to speed that up because we've got a while before we get a few other things. Internals protection, onboard caisson is almost researched. I'm not going to put any special focus on research right now. We'll let those things happen as they do. All of our existing designs are at least 5 years old, so we don't have anything that's more current than that. So I think we might wait until those couple of research developments happen and then work on some new designs. We do have a battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, a light cruiser, and 2 torpedo boats in the works. So let's see what happens with all of it. British lost 3 transports. We have 2 available missions to us right off the bat. This one's interesting because we have the Coronel, the Augsburg, and the Köln against a pretty substantial fleet, including a battleship that is twice the size of anything that we've got. Not sure how well that's going to go. This one's a little more my speed to start. 3 battleships against a slightly lighter. Actually, it's interesting. Our battleships and his heavy cruisers are about the same size, so maybe it's not the advantage I think it is. Okay, so here's what we're facing. Pretty even on each side, I would say. Of course, the question is whether or not he's going to commit to combat. Well, I guess he wasn't interested in being found. One of the updates to the game was supposed to have helped with such things, but obviously in a situation where he is perceiving himself to be outgunned, he's not going to take that chance. Now you can see here, this other one, we are outgunned by about 3-1. It does not feel like the kind of mission that we want to get involved in. So I think we're going to do what he does, and that's going to turn and run as quickly as possible. Hopefully we don't find ourselves in too close, which it appears we do, at least with I think these are the transports. But I'm going to go ahead and start turning away from these guys, and we're going to get out of dodge and save ourselves as quickly as we possibly can. Okay, so we did get away. We lost 58 crew. The victory points were minimal at best, and very little damage suffered by any of my ships. So that was probably about the best case scenario in that situation. We're ready to go ahead and advance to the next turn, where now we've got a bunch of torpedo boats against a heavy cruiser. This should be interesting. I think we can probably make a run here, and even if we lose a couple of them, it'll definitely be worth it. The question, of course, becomes whether or not we can catch this guy or whether he runs like the coward that he typically is. Well, there's the answer. He is not running. He is coming straight at us. And I mean straight at us. Surprisingly, has not opened fire yet. There it comes. So we're going to get some torpedoes in the water as quickly as we can. I'm actually going to go straight past him. We've only got 2 torpedoes on each one of these torpedo boats. And like I said, I expect to lose a few. We've got our first torpedo in the water. Now what we need to do is get the next guy in line. I gave them orders for a tight formation, but they hadn't quite gotten into the tight formation yet. I'm going to start turning these guys this way. I want to try and get as many torpedoes on this guy as I can, and obviously he's going to be able to outmaneuver some of them. You can see here, he's going to miss the first one, but I don't think he's going to miss the second one. And we may even nail him in the rudder, which might help tremendously. And it's not quite going to be the rudder, but it is in the rear. So now we're going to swing around this way. I'm going to get these guys heading over this way as well, so maybe we can kind of cut them off a little bit. This torpedo boat, we can get the heck out of there because they are completely worthless to me now, as they have no torpedoes. I'm going to hold off on firing anymore. You can see we did pretty substantial damage with the first ones. Oh, he already got them off. Never mind. I waited too long for that. Those ones aren't even going to be close. That's why I wanted to wait. Alright, you get out of here too, because you're completely worthless to me. So what we need to do is we need to get right up alongside them to give ourselves the best possible chance to hit. He's not even firing at this particular torpedo boat. Why? Why are you coming this way? I told you to go. Oh well, go that way then, I guess. Getting right in the way of me being able to fire these torpedoes. Unreal. Dude. Okay, now put them in the water. Please. There they go. Alright. I'm done with you. Let's detach this guy. Get him headed there. Although I'm hoping these two will hit up front, cause enough flooding that that'll pretty much spell the end for Suffolk. We've got flooding along most compartments, though he seems to have gotten on top of the flooding here. So I don't know. Let's turn off these torpedoes until we're ready to use them. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Going to be darn close, though. We need to hit them in those compartments that aren't flooded yet. Oh, we might have enough, actually. They're down to 2%. Yeah, that's as far as it's going to go. Point blank range. I might not lose a single torpedo boat. That would be incredible. Alright. Finish him. Bye-bye. Oh, those are going to hit exactly where I want them to as well. I need to get those 3 compartments there in the middle, and that's about where we're going to hit. Yep, we got them. See ya! That was beautiful. 1,200 victory points, 870 crew lost for him, only 12 for me. Those are the kinds of engagements we need to have more of. Those even the odds a little bit. Although, he's still got more destroyers and torpedo boats than me, so long term we might have some issues there. Let's look at research now. 5 months to go on internals protection. 2 months to go on special machinery. If we did a little research focus here, in 3 months we would be ready. How about gun layout? 4 large side guns research. So 4 months from now we could have 3 new technologies. That might be the time to go ahead and start designing some new ships. Alright, we lost 4 transports that time around. Here's an ambush. 4 destroyers against a heavy cruiser and a light cruiser. That could be good. How about the battle? 4 torpedo boats. That's a tricky one. And then the convoy. A battleship and 3 transports against a destroyer and a torpedo boat. This could be the kind of dangerous fight that could cost me a battleship. But let's see what happens. Okay, we need to protect the transports, and we need to sink these 2 ships that are going to probably want to try and take out my battleship. We don't control the transports, but we just need to stay between them and these 2 small vessels that are coming my way. Alright, here they come. And again, we got to stay between them and the transports as best we can. We're going to immediately start using my HE. I'm going to slow down to get some accuracy bonus. I'm going to turn sideways so that we can get... What kind of guns do I have on this thing anyway? I've got 12s and 11s for main guns. We've got main guns here, here, and then in the center. We've got 6s, 4s, 3s, 2s. We've got quite a bit of firepower on this thing. Once we get turned to the side, we can start using it. Hopefully with some degree of accuracy. Which so far none of my weapons have better than a 0.5% chance to hit. It's pretty brutally awful. We're definitely going to need some technology upgrades to improve that a little bit. We also have cadets, so we have pretty poorly trained crew, which means a 15% reduction in accuracy, a 20% reduction in aiming, and a 35% reduction in damage control. They're also far enough away from me that I can't even spot them at this point. Okay, looks like they're coming in closer now. I was trying to speed toward them as fast as I could. I'm going to go ahead and slow back down. They're probably going to come in for a torpedo run and then move right away. I don't know what their range is. It looks like 1 kilometer is their range on their torpedoes. Well, the torpedo boat's got a 1.5 kilometer range. So we need to stay outside of his torpedo range, or at least get ourselves in position to where we can maneuver effectively. We did get a hit on Munster, but it doesn't appear to have done a whole lot. We're up to 5% now with the big guns anyway. I'm going to get my big guns firing on the torpedo boat, my secondaries on the Munster. See if we can't do damage to both at the same time. That did not look like a secondary firing on Munster. It looks like they just changed everything. Alright, we'll do secondaries on Janus then. Up to 12% chance to hit, though, with the 12-inch guns. That's nice. Oh, he's coming in close for a torpedo run. We got to be watching for that. I'm going to start cutting hard over. That way if he does get in range, we're already maneuvering, hopefully away from it. Alright, I'm going to try to put all my firepower on Munster right now since he's in close. Ooh, nice hit. I'm watching for those torpedoes to hit the water. We got a little bit of flooding on him, but not much. There, his torpedoes are in the water. Oh, man. I don't think we're avoiding those. Hold on. Yeah, there's really just no way I'm going to avoid those torpedoes, is there? Ugh. He got him at just the right angle. I mean, I can try. I might have been better off to swing the other way, but at this point, there's no way to do that in time. I can try to speed up. I just don't see any way I miss him. Ugh, that was a really good shot on his part. They're going to hit me right in the center. I don't know what kind of torpedo protection I have. We're going to find out in a second. Because I didn't design this ship. It looks like we're only flooding 3 compartments, so that's good. But now he's going to come up with the torpedo boat. Dang. Well, that sucks. Alright, let's switch over to the torpedo boat, try to hit him. Boy, oh man, we must have really crappy bulkheads on this battleship, because that flooding just spread like wildfire. It was not at all contained. Jeez. Yeah, few bulkheads. Who designed this battleship? Ugh. No chance. We're done. Completely done. Dead in the water. Alright, well that's going to be a big hit for us. Here comes another one. Those hit in the exact same spots that were already flooded, so that actually helps a little bit. Man, even at close range, we just couldn't get any real firepower on these things. Now they're going to swing around and hit me again. Oh, we got a torpedo in the water. But he'll easily avoid that. Jeez. Be a small miracle if we can survive this. Accuracy is just 2.4% now with the 12-inch guns. I'm just waiting for the sharks to come in and finish me off. Alright, let's put all the firepower right now on the Janus. He's in a good spot. We're getting a handle on the flooding a little bit. But that's just long enough for him to come in and do it again. Here comes another one. Turn! And no chance we're going to avoid this. Oh, we came really close to avoiding that one. This one's going to hit me right in the rear, which is where I'm not flooding. And now I am. That's probably the kill shot. There it is. Oh, that was brutal. But this was a really poorly designed battleship. Bad accuracy. No bulkheads. Just a recipe for disaster. And disaster is exactly what we got. So, he's now ahead a little bit with victory points. Obviously, that reduces the number of battleships I have. We've got to get some better battleships designed. But we've got a few other missions we've got to fight first. I'm going to try to avoid a couple of these if I can. I don't think you have to do some of these. I want to try to get to the place where we can build some new ships. All right, where are we at financially? I need to up my transport building. We need to up our crew training a little bit. And where are we on research now? 1 month on internals, 2 months on gun layout, and 1 month on special machinery. So 2 of those things we get next month. We do have a battle available to us. 4 light cruisers against 3 light cruisers. But our light cruisers, again, even though we have similar amount of ships, the tonnage is very different. His battleships are way bigger than mine. So really, you could almost say he's got 15 battleships to my 6, because my battleships are the size of his heavy cruisers. So there's a big discrepancy in tonnage. So I'm going to try to avoid any of those battles until I start getting some better ships out there. What was the tonnage like for that one? Big advantage again for the Brits in terms of tonnage. So I'm going to avoid those. We've got 1 month to go on gun layout. I think in the meantime, though, we can at least build some better smaller ships, perhaps. Let's look at design on destroyers for a minute. Here's our existing destroyers that we have. The V1s. They've got 27 knots of speed. They've got a pretty minimal amount of weaponry and crew. They've got 2 torpedo tubes, things of that nature. So how can we improve on that is the question. Because we don't really have any new technologies. So it's really about just improving on design. So, you know, honestly, I think I'm going to wait. All right, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 destroyers coming after one of our battleships. This is one we're going to try to run from, but my battleship's not particularly fast. So I'm not real confident of my chances here. I think we might lose another battleship. I'm starting to turn that way, but now I'm gonna swing around as hard as I can here, knowing that his torpedoes are gonna be hitting the water. I'm just at the edge of his torpedo range. And that's really the only thing we have to fear from these guys. That and their speed, of course. But he's just out of range of the torpedo, so he's not really putting any in the water yet. We are getting some hits. But now we're going to try to get away. I'm sure they've got way more speed than I do. 26 knots to my 18. There's no way I can outrun them. And there's no way I can avoid the 30 torpedoes that this guy can put in the water. Feels like I'm almost sitting still right now. I'm only going 11 knots because I was in that hard turn. Alright, I think I might have gotten one of them. Well, maybe not. The Strongbow's taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't seem like it's enough to sink them. We already did damage to the Teviot, and they're kind of falling behind, so maybe we can at least slow them all down? I don't know. We're going to turn on the Shark now, an aptly named destroyer. It's going to take me a while. I'm up to 17 knots now. That's as fast as this thing goes. But he's staying conspicuously out of torpedo range. Again, we've got some damage on the shark, but not enough to take it down. So now he's going to drop in line. Let's switch to the tower. We're just going to keep doing this. We're going to keep damaging these guys until hopefully we can start to outrun him. But he's like a swarm of bees, man. He's just going to keep stinging until he's got me where he wants me for the kill. We've already got a poorly trained crew. We've suffered 2% losses now. Need a couple of big hits. Oh, taking some flooding now. How did that happen? 5-inch shells? Jeez. Look at how much flooding I'm taking from a 5-inch shell. That's kind of crazy. Where did that thing hit me? Death by 1,000 cuts is what this is. Alright. Tower's coming in for what looks like a torpedo run. He's finally getting wise. And he's going to nail me right in the middle. I've already got significant damage everywhere on this ship. These battleships are just so poorly designed. Honestly, it's going to save me a little bit of maintenance costs on these ships to get rid of them. The only problem is, of course, that I lose crew in the process. Quite a bit of crew. Here comes another one. He's going to get the finishing shot on me here. Oh. That's a second battleship down. I need better battleships. Big time. Alright. In the meantime, his tonnage is going to be so heavily weighted in his favor that he might get a blockade on me. Alright, we got to get these new battleships designed now. I think we've got the research complete that we wanted. Here we go. Time to design for the future. So we've got Battleship 3. We can go up to 16,000 tons. Looks like Gneisenau is going to be the default name that we go with, and I'm perfectly content with that. Wouldn't mind having at least 23 knots of speed. The existing ones have 17 knots. I want to reduce the range a little bit. We'll go at least many bulkheads. We at least go down to standard probably. Induced boilers. We're going to go with the balanced rudder. Electro-hydro steering gear 1, which I think we just researched. That actually reduced the cost. That's kind of interesting. Anti-torpedo 1. We'll max out everything, and then we'll scale it back as needed once we realize just how much overweight and overcost we are. I want to advance the technology, though, as much as I can to give ourselves an edge. We're never going to have as many ships as he does. All we can do is have better technology and hopefully eventually better crew. Where's the sweet spot on gunnery right now? 30% accuracy at 1,000 meters on this one. 38% here. Not a huge difference. Well, at 5,000 meters, there's a significant difference. We're going to go with 12s. Not a big difference in accuracy between 2 barrels and 1. Of course, the main difference is reload time. I'm going to go 2. If we do 3 funnels, where's that put us? 100% engine efficiency. What if I remove one of them? We're still at 100%. So I'm going to go with 2 just because of the cost and weight factors. We're almost maxed out on weight, and we haven't even looked at things like secondaries. There is a flash fire explosion chance here, but I think that's something I'm willing take my chances with to improve our range and base accuracy. Gun cotton, what's that do? Yeah, we'll do that. Enhanced reloading, electrical turrets. Again, that almost maxes us out. I still think torpedo launchers are probably something we want to have. That puts us at weight. Obviously, we're going to be overweight when we start doing secondaries. I think 6-inch guns is probably a good spot to be at. If I can find a spot for them. I don't think we can go with 6s on this hull. Alright, so maybe we're not going to do that. Actually, you know what? We can't go as big with the Battleship 2, but we have better spots for guns and things. So I don't know. What kind of casemate guns can we get? We can get 6-inch casemate guns. So that's probably what we need to do here. Get a bunch of those going. You can see now we're 2,000 tons over. That's just not going to fly. So this is where we got to start scaling back now. That only made a difference of 89. That's just not even significant enough to be worth it. We might have to reduce some speed. If we drop to 22 knots, that it doesn't remove that much, really. Alright, so I was looking and there was just no way to get any firepower on the sides of the ship. So we've got to get some smaller guns. I don't know. Yeah, we can't get 5s. Single barrel 5s, yes. How about single barrel 8s? Nope. Looks like single barrel 5s are the best we can do on the sides. So I'm going to throw those on there. We're still a little overweight. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these 6-inch guns that really don't have much in the way of range. And that gets us down underweight significantly. If we bump our range back up, that puts us just over. Alright, so we'll drop the range. We've got a pretty significant aft weight offset. So we could probably fix some of that by adjusting the that doesn't really change it a whole lot, really. So we'll drop some of that. That helps a little bit. Reduce the protection of the aft deck armor. Improve what we've got on the foredeck. Which I guess means we're going to have to go straight at people. Drop the aft torpedo tubes, and that gets us a little bit more acceptable. I'm just looking at how all of these things impact us. Stability, obviously, is a bit of an issue. I don't know how we can improve the stability. Couldn't really find anything that helped with the stability a whole lot, so we're just going to go with where it is. Oh, I do want to go up to bigger torpedoes, I think. That's going to affect the weight a little bit. But I did get up to 10.5 inches of belt armor, so that's good. Alright, I think that's what we're going to go with. These are not the cheapest. They're 7.3 million, almost 7.4 million, which puts them significantly more expensive, but also faster, more weight, and better weaponry than the Siegfried. So let's start queuing up a couple of those. We'll build 3 of them. It'll take the better part of a year to get them going. Alright, so here we've got 3 of our bigger ships going up against a bunch of smaller ones. These are the kinds of dangerous fights that make me nervous, especially because of the nature of the big ships that I've got. But we'll wrap up this episode with this battle as we wait desperately for our new battleships to enter service. So first things first, I think we're going to take this nice and slow as best we can. We're going to need to be ready to start lighting this guy up as soon as he gets into range. And I'm going to put them all into the same battle line. And then as soon as he gets close enough with torpedoes, we'll have to separate them all out and start doing some crazy maneuvering. Okay, we've spotted them. His range, you can see the torpedo range, 1 kilometer. So that's good news. We don't want him to get that close. We did land a hit already on one of them. We'll go ahead and slow down. We got 9-inch guns on the heavy cruisers, along with 4s and 2s. Oh, we landed a couple of big hits on the Topaz. Topazi? I don't know what it is. I just know we hit it. 547 damage from a 12-inch shell. He's about the only one I can spot right now. Try to get in a little closer if I can. Everybody's firing on him right now with very little in the way of hitting. 2% accuracy will do that. Alright, looks like he might be making a run at me. Maybe not. He turned toward me briefly. Trying to get up here and get as good a tactical view as I can. He's well out of torpedo range. My big concern is running out of shells before I actually sink anybody. Let's go after the shark for a minute, see if we have any better luck. We've encountered shark before. Alright, can we talk about the fact that we've got shark and tornado? We've basically got Sharknado. That's what's happening here. I'm interested to know what his strategy is to be parked around out there. I mean, because he's close enough for me to hit him, but not close enough to actually do anything to me, which is to get torpedoes on me. So he's basically just giving me free shots. I don't know if his strategy is to make me run out of ammo and then he comes after me, because I'm not going to run out of secondary ammo anytime soon. Just the big stuff. Alright, we're getting some decent hits on this light cruiser now. Not nearly enough flooding damage, but certainly a lot of structural damage. I don't know if we want to switch to auto, because I am seeing some difficulty in getting penetration with some of these hits. So let's see what happens if we switch that out. Maybe we can cause some more flooding damage this way. Just trying to pummel this guy into oblivion. Hopefully once he comes out of the smoke, we'll start getting some better hits. There we go. It's frustrating when you're only less than 4 kilometers away and you just can't seem to hit much. There we go. That was helpful. Got some real flooding damage there. If we could penetrate a couple more compartments, it might be enough to finish them. There's another one. Got him. Bye-bye. Come on, flood. Flood. No, his pumps are getting on top of it. We need another hit. Darn it. We were so close. Oh, hello. I didn't catch this destroyer getting in that close. Let's get some secondaries firing on him. Why? Why did we get so close and then we can't finish them off? Did everybody switch everything to this guy now? I think we did. Target of opportunity, I guess. Still going to take us forever to take him out. There we go, that helps. I'm going to put my mains from all 3 of these guys back on the topes. He's so close to being done. Now we got a light cruiser coming in behind us here. No, not Siegfried. You keep firing on him. I want first Bismarck going after this guy. See, they're starting to spread and get around us now. That makes me a little nervous. Dang. This is a frustratingly slow combat situation. Gotta watch he doesn't make a torpedo around here. You know what? Let's disable this guy. He's only 1.5 kilometers out. Alright, we finally got a flash fire on that light cruiser. Must have spread from one of the places that we had hit previously, and that caused us sinking, so we finally got ourselves a sinking. First Bismarck is dangerously close to this guy's torpedo range. He doesn't have any 5-inch shells left. I'm going to swing around here. So we can get all of our big guns on him. Oh, we got rudder damage on the Siegfried. It's the only ship we got in range right now. Caused a lot of flooding. If we could get a couple more hits real quick, we might be able to sink him quickly. Oh, we got some major fires up front on Siegfried. I'm a little concerned about with these few bulkheads and the real lack of protection on this thing. It does concern me about a fire spreading or something happening that really messes us up there. It's offering to end the battle. I don't think I want to do that. At least not till I sink this other ship. Alright, we're finally getting ourselves into range now. Trying to finish off this other light cruiser. He's down to 12 knots, so we can catch up to him easily enough. Don't want to get into torpedo range, though, so I want to stay just outside that 1 kilometer range, where we can get as close as possible to get hits. %11 chance to hit now with our 9-inch guns, which are missing wildly still. In fact, really nothing's hitting him right now. I mean, a kilometer out and we can't hit anything. It's pretty frustrating. But that's the technology of the time. There we go. Got a couple hits there. Just outside that 1 kilometer range. We just need a little more flooding. There we go. Looks like it's spread some. We need to get these couple of compartments in the rear. There's one of them. Yeah, it looks like its pumps are on top of it, though. Man, it's like an all-day project trying to take out one light cruiser from a kilometer away. I'm going to detach the battleship and start swinging around from this side. I went in just long enough to get at torpedo range. See if we couldn't finish them off. And it looks like it might have worked. We nailed them with a torpedo, and that's going to do the trick. Beautiful. Alright, we're going to wrap that one up right there. So, we heavily damaged one Druid-class cruiser. We lightly damaged another. We sank both light cruisers. 838 victory points, 530 crew losses versus 24. It's a pretty good outcome, I would say. We've got our new battleships on the way. We're obviously going to have to get some newer ships of other kinds as well. But we are a long way out before those are going to be completed. Let's see exactly where. Yeah, 15 months away from those being completed. So in the meantime, we've got to make do with what we've got. Let me know your thoughts. Use a comment section below. Hopefully we'll be able to sustain this campaign with any further updates. We'll see you again in a couple of days with the next episode.